Good morning. Thank you so much for hanging out and waiting for me while I was trying to get everything under control. It's all about the bunnies. It's their fault. So, trying to change just one thing and then you got to change another and then another and then another and then it's your mother. So, anyway, I'm all out of excuses. I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out and waiting for me. Man, that was ridiculous. And I've been wanting to get on live with you so bad. So here we are. Everybody, welcome back. It's been since Friday. I can't believe it. It's been like 72 hours, you guys. It's probably the longest I've gone without a live in many moons, many moons. So thank you so much for being here and supporting these lives. And I hope you liked the little short ones that I did over the weekend. It's hilarious that I felt like I forgot how to do a not live. So, I'm such a creature of comfort and a creature of habit. So I like my routine. And then when my routine gets knocked around, it really throws me off. So, good morning, Justice and America. And I wanted to address what my mod said up here, you guys. Kale says something that I think is really true with what's going on right now with our YouTube algorithm. She says, I clicked like, then went to your community page for a few minutes while waiting for your podcast. And when I returned, I had not yet liked. Is YouTube on the warpath or what? So it appears that YouTube has been unsubbing people and things like this. And I don't know if that's like all channels across the boards or just ones that cover Kylie Rodney's case. I don't know. I don't want to get paranoid about it for sure. And it is what it is. So, whatever. Everything I say is simply my opinion, and it is for the sake of education. I'm hoping to open up a discussion and learn something and have an intelligent conversation with my lovely viewers in the chat. So, Squirrely Burger says, yes, that happens to me too on all of the channels. Well, YouTube is annoying, isn't it? It's like the greatest thing since sliced bread, except that it's got all these freaking problems. So roll with it, right? So I want to I'm looking around to make sure my lights are okay. If any of them are like too bright or something, let me know. It's really hard to get that dang lighting right. Anyway, I was in the middle of my spiel, my disclaimer. I forgot to say the part about YouTube that it is an entertainment platform and all the videos that I make are specifically made for that platform. So, it's kind of a love-hate kind of thing. I had to hit the like on certain community posts or videos 4 or 5 times, and really when you hit skip ad, there's some ads I think they pay more for to make you have to hit it 3 or 4 times before it registers. Have you guys noticed that? It really bugs me. Again, it just bugs me if it's being, doing that on the sly. If you know that that's a thing that some companies can pay more so that it takes you an hour to skip their ads, then just say it. I like and share at the beginning and watch commercials. Community page is, I guess, only available on laptops or computers. Annie Ruler, I cannot get the community page on my phone either. So yeah, I have to be on my laptop to look at my community page. I can't even see chat on my iPhone. It bugs me. So if I'm out and about or if I'm on my phone, not my laptop, then I can watch a live, but I can't I'm just lurking. Nobody even knows that I'm there. So I find that super annoying. Let me catch a drink of water real quick. All right. So you guys, yeah, the community tabs that I've been doing, I feel like they're really good and informative and information that I'm not seeing anywhere else. Or actually, of course, I'm seeing it on Google. How's my hair? I'm seeing it on Google. And so I'm not seeing other content creators bring it to people's attention. Like the fact that these sergeants at Wazoo make 6 figures allegedly, and that there's 33 of them allegedly. I'm going to have to do a public records request because that just seems outlandish. $3.5 million just on the sergeants in a community that's not that big. That's fishy. That's really fishy. So, um, also just that disgusting Matthew Kurt, Kurht, that was that got himself resigned November 1st. In all the articles that I read, and I probably read over 10 articles about his situation and his getting all of the administrators resigned before he got resigned. That crap that he'd been pulling, he just couldn't keep it in his pants like for a day, for a shift. And he'd been doing that for years, allegedly, for years. And everybody knew about it. And it was never a problem until somebody called and said that they were upset about it and wanted to report on him. So, how scary do you think that was for that individual? All right, I'm going to read some of your comments. I'm just so excited to get back with you guys. Thanks again for being here. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, what a pain in the arse. But I am getting things under control, I think, with the YouTube business stuff. So maybe things will smooth out. I don't know. If worse comes to worse, I could always switch from not YouTube to something else. But I like YouTube just because it's straightforward, I guess, sort of, kind of, or I wish it was. Anyway, Alistair Grant, thank you. She says, you're fine. And Annie Ruler says, I like and share at beginning and watch commercials. Oh, I already read that one. So yeah, the watching the commercials is something that if you do that for your the channels that you like, then they get paid more money, I guess, rather than if you skip them. There's just so many nuances to it. So there's a couple of channels that I'm willing to watch their commercials, but for the most part, I'm like, nah, my time's more valuable. So do what works for you. Last night, I did a short video about the precipitating factors, the precipitating events. So when I worked in crisis and commitment services and I worked inpatient psychiatry, when somebody is suicidal or homicidal, danger to self or others, it's usually pretty much everything in the world that's driving them to that place. But then there's always the precipitating factor. You could say the straw that broke the camel's back. So people are looking for the precipitating factor with the Idaho 4. And that's good. You should, because that's kind of like motive, right? But what about the precipitating event that created that SWAT team incident a month later? That didn't come out of the clear blue sky. That Brent Kopacker, the Army vet, had his head injury and PTSD for 13 years. And then that happened. So what got him to that point? What was his precipitating factor, his precipitating event? And why is it all so quiet? Like, I can't even figure out where that man is from. I mean, it's like top secret information, which of course, because he's military, but it is very questionable to me. You have two towns that are roughly 25,000 people each that are so close together that they're considered one town. And you have these monumental fatalities going on 31 days apart. The chances of there not being overlap and things that are common denominators is pretty much slim to zero, in my humble opinion. I want to know, what is the connections? What are the connections? How many connections are there? You guys, I'm sure, have the same questions. And I know I'm not the only one asking these things, but my opinion is that obviously the law enforcement in these two towns is doing a lousy job of keeping these towns safe. These are small towns that should be safe. But let me tell you, I've been to Wazoo. You guys know that if you're regulars on my channel. Um, a couple of times I went there to play soccer against their soccer team, the Wazoo team. And I played for Evergreen State College over in Olympia, Washington. And the town is totally not only not cool, I've shared that with you guys. Just last week, I shared with you that it's kind of like RAPE town. Wait, why is my thing saying low battery? Hold on, let me get plugged in. I thought it was plugged in. 1 second. Damn bunnies, I'm telling you. Bad bunnies. Oh my goodness. And now I'm just going to give up on those. I'm just going to put them over here. They're in a timeout. I'll keep the ironing board for you guys. Okay. That is so annoying. So I had my laptop plugged in, except that it wasn't plugged into the outlet. Oh my goodness. Where was I talking about? I told you guys a while ago about one of the times we played Wazoo and they were beating our butts so bad. It was, I want to say 8-0. This is over 30 years ago or 32 years ago. So I can't really remember, but it was bad. It was humiliating and it was awful. And they were rough. They were literally beating us up. And the Wazoo refs weren't calling them on any of it. So when I shared it with you guys before, I forgot the part about the Wazoo refs allowing them to beat us up. I literally got a concussion when I didn't even have the ball near me from some girl just like running me down like a Mack truck. And she didn't get called a foul. No foul. So that's Wazoo. That's how they roll. That was 32 freaking years ago. That was one soccer game. Let me add that all these girls had on bright red lipstick and giant red bows in their hair and lots of pancake makeup playing soccer. I didn't even know you could do that. I mean, bows in your hair is dangerous, and pancake makeup if you're sweating, gross. These people in this town are insane, is what I'm trying to tell you. And then you compare that with Moscow, which honestly, I've never been to Moscow, but everything I've ever heard when I lived out there and just when you look online, Moscow is the cool town. Moscow is like the University of Idaho is like the prestigious school. Wazoo is not. It's just not. They have a football team, and that's their thing. And they run amok, is what I'm saying. So when I'm looking at this police department and all this crap with this Sergeant Kurt that went on for all these years, all this stuff is coming back to me, just like the soccer game. But that is a snapshot of what this whole Pullman town is like. And I think what happened with this special Army veteran is also a snapshot of what this whole town is like. And I think what happened with Matthew Kurt and him getting away with this for so long and getting a slap on the wrist and getting punished by not making overtime for 3 whole months. And then we've got this alleged criminal defendant that is also was living there. And I don't know, that's a little bit over the top. I mean, yeah, it's a bad town, but I don't know about all that. So you guys, I'm going to like stop on that warpath against Wazoo, but it's a crap town. I'm telling you, it's a crap freaking town, and Moscow is the cool town. So let's go back to the Moscow 4 and the situation at 1122 King Road, because that corporal who was in charge, still is in charge of that investigation, he served in the same brigade that the deceased Army veteran from December 15th, Brent Kopaker, he served with, not with him, but in the same brigade. I don't think they actually overlapped. They might have, but barely. Kopaker was there, I think, from 2005 to 2009. And then I'm not sure exactly when, when Brett Payne was there, but we also know that Brett Payne's brother, Kyle Payne, did the same exact type of service. And the two brothers actually were in a brigade in Afghanistan together. I do not know if that also potentially the deceased Army veteran may have. I do not know that. I've been doing a lot of research and reading a lot of different articles, and it's hard to put it all together. I have a lot of notes, and I don't want to say anything that's inaccurate. And I just want to let you guys know that they all did the same type of thing with this, like parachuting into denied access areas. So the fact that years later they all live in these small communities, they very well likely know each other, in my opinion. Um, Also, to reiterate that the two Payne brothers, Brett and Kyle, that they both are graduates of IU, right? Or is it UI, University of Idaho? Sorry. IU is Indiana University. That's a great school too. Anyway, let me get caught up with you guys. It sounds like they refused to take the name of the complainant, then said the story could not be corroborated because of no ID. Fishy, not fishy. That's exactly what they did, allegedly. Alistair Grant says, is it true that the Jack that disappeared to Africa went to high school with Dylan and her dad has a white truck as well? It could very well be. There's all the Jacks and all the white trucks and white cars. I've been real focused on the military thing because it breaks my heart that guy got gunned down when the allegation was that he was holding his roommates hostage or threatening their lives, but they were like free and clear for hours. So it really breaks my heart that they killed that guy. And it also makes me very suspicious that with an entire SWAT team, you'd think they could have taken him down. But, I'm not there. I'm not an expert. So I'm allowed to express my suspicions, and I just want to leave it right there. So, yeah, there's so much fishy about this whole Idaho 4 case, and then bleeding over into that SWAT team situation. As we know, it started the day after the criminal defendant left the area. It's just a little too close for comfort. So yeah, good questions about Jack S, who might be hoodie guy, and Dylan M. And her dad has now been sued 3 times since the Idaho 4. I think there's 3 separate lawsuits filed against him, all for delinquency, maybe. Financial issues. I'm not 100% sure. Who is Kim? Squirrely Burger says, and why does she seem a lot like Megan, but not? Why are they inserting themselves into these murder cases? So puzzling to me. So my opinion is all I can tell you about that because I don't know either of these people from Eve. My opinion is that they are inserting themselves into these cases to muddy the waters. So they're attempting to distract and persuade the whole narrative, in my opinion. And it's bogus, absolute bogus, no matter what the deal is. It just is messed up. Oopsie, bunnies fell over. Yeah, I know they're bad bunnies. Leave the bunny alone, Alistair Grant. Thank you. I love my bunnies. Oh, my mother passed away almost a year ago, and she loved bunnies too. And then my youngest daughter, who's 11 now, bunnies were her favorite thing when she was little. So we got a thing for bunnies over here. And carrots. We like carrots a lot too. I'm wondering if defense tactic, I saw defense attorney seeming to give jail visit tapes to juror or hung juror. See, some play real dirty. Annie Ruler, what are you up to? I am wondering if defense tactic, I saw defense attorney seeming to give jail visit tapes to juror or hung juror. Some play real dirty. Wow. So that was the case that you were a juror on not too long ago. That's completely insane. You would think that he would be found in contempt of court, he or she, the lawyer. Dylan's dad does have a white truck, unsure about Jack, hoodie guy, supposedly to Africa for protection. Yeah, I've heard that he actually didn't go to Africa, but the family, I think, goes to Africa pretty regularly because they're a family of doctors and they do some kind of missionary work there. So that reminds me, big hooray to Scotland for winning Saturday in the rugby. Oh my goodness. In the Super Bowl last night, I told you guys I don't really watch football, but what a crazy outcome. What a punishment. That sounds so juvenile instead of professional. You're talking about the 3 months of no overtime. And, if whatever it says on paper, these sergeants makes, like, let's just say it says that each sergeant makes $100,000 per year, because what I saw was over that on a government website specific for the university. But that says salary. So a lot of times they're not allowed to make any overtime, but he was told he wasn't allowed to make overtime that summer. So that means that those sergeants do make overtime, which you can bet that they're making well over $150,000 a year in that case, because most law enforcement cashes in on overtime. That's how law enforcement is. That's how it operates. So if you're on a salary, you don't get overtime usually. So they must have a system where it's like hourly, basically. And yeah, so even if that's incorrect, that it says that they're making 100,000 a year roughly each, let's just say that they're making more like 80,000 roughly each. With overtime, then they'd be getting well over 120 easily. And sometimes even I know of deputy sheriffs in Washington state that were making 60,000 on paper and closer to 200,000 a year at the end of the year with their overtime. So don't be fooled, okay? Because that's all of our taxpayer money. We're paying for that. And Squirrely Burger, where is Kim now? I would imagine she's hiding out, and maybe she's the one who put that letter together. Allegedly. Annie Ruler says, got gunned down same time FBI lost track of CD. Fishy again, how new resources were needed in Pullman. Annie, you were brilliant. Thank you so much for tying that all together. I've been trying to tie it together in me brain and articulate it to you guys, but you just did it. So on the 13th, lo and behold, surveillance who thinks they have this mad freaking murderous ninja and they have their eye on him, all of a sudden he gets away for 13 hours. That's insane. And then they are lucky enough to find out where he is because of a traffic cam taking a picture of his license plate down in Colorado 13 hours later. And yes, that was on the 13th. So then rolling into the 14th, this guy goes ballistic, says he's going to kill his roommates, allegedly. And then going into the 15th at 4 a.m. was when he was hit by a sniper shot. It's very suspicious. It's very suspicious, in my opinion. I'm in New York, so I missed a few days. I'm in York, so I've missed a few days. I don't know anything about Kim. Annie Ruler, that's interesting. It would be interesting to see SWAT guy's DNA is in King Road. So the fact that the guy on the SWAT team who had the bullet that hit Brett Kopaka. Now I've been doing all this without my notes. I'm just a little bit caught up with all the different names. The guy who hit Kopaka with the bullet is where is his name? Dang it. He's another sergeant with Wazoo. And I have to tell you his name because that's Brett Boyd. That's the fourth Brett. So thank you, chat, for telling me on Friday that Brett Boyd, our fourth Brett, was the one who hit Brent Kopaka with the bullet. So he was put on an administrative leave the way any law enforcement officer is, even if they fire their gun and don't hit somebody. But certainly with a fatality, absolutely. Even just pulling their gun out, they'll probably be put on a 6-week administrative leave and have it investigated. That's just typical. Anyway, they had 6 weeks of investigating him, and he went right back to work as normal, which maybe that's legit. Maybe. I'm no expert to make that call, but does he have to have the name Brett? I mean, seriously, the two Bretts and two Brents, I just can't get over it. It's just nuts. Um, and then, of course, uh, Brett Payne, the corporal, his brother Kyle, like Kylie or Kaylin, or yeah, we can't go there. Um, so what was it that I wanted to say to you that I haven't said? One of the things I haven't said to you guys, tell me what you think. Tell me if you've already thought about this. The Facebook profiles and the Reddit profiles that look like they could be the criminal defendant, like Papa Roger, which is the one that people say, oh, yeah, that's definitely him. Could those be sock accounts by people trying to set up the criminal defendant? Could Papa Roger be an account that's made by somebody trying to frame the criminal defendant? And all those other profiles? Just a question. Um, and why was all the public told that these four in the Idaho tragedy were all asleep in their beds? Why was that false narrative spread? Was that a tactic because then only people on the inside track would know the truth about it? Or was that so that we would all buy this idea that one person could have done this by themselves in the dark in roughly 10 minutes? My feeling is it's the latter. Just my opinion. Um, and here's another one that I have not ever shared with you guys. And I think maybe other channels have said some things like this, and I've just been like, I don't know. It's just a thought. Could the two surviving roommates have been the love interest of somebody like the criminal defendant? And where did they work? Where did Dylan and Bethany work? Did they have jobs? But could they have been the person that the alleged unaliver was so passionate about? These were crimes of passion, allegedly, remember? So that would almost make sense that then they didn't hurt the one or the ones that they have these passionate feelings about. Just a thought. So another thought, you guys, can you fill me in? What is up with the fight between Xana and Dylan that happened on Halloween 2 weeks before this? And a week before Xana had her father come, and he came all the way from Arizona to change the lock on her door. It was another channel that said, the hard truth is who said that would be the landlord's job. And that's right. That would be the landlord's job. Squirrely Burger, what you talking about? So does this means that potentially these murders could be connected to the KR case and the Trinity case and the Dante case and the Chloe case? Who knows how long this list potentially is? So does what mean that? I mean, I follow you, but I'm just wanting to ask you what you're thinking, and also so that other people can follow that might not make the connection. I'm thinking more and more that this is about drugs. And one of the reasons that I feel that way is because when situations like that happen, it always gets covered up. One thing is out of respect for the families, because there's a lot of shame if their family members were involved in anything like that. And another reason is to protect the cartels. So you guys know in Ohio, there was the Pike County murders a few years ago. It was like 8 people in one, or I think one family, 2 locations. Some of them were little kids. They were all gunned down. And Pike County is, if you're not familiar, it's like east of Cincinnati along the river. And it's a big growth area, Ganj, right? And it was cartels, plain as day. Everybody's known that ever since it happened. I think it was like 5 years ago. And just this last year, this one guy in the family got charged and processed and found guilty in a court of law for having done all 8 of them over a custody battle. But nobody in Ohio buys any of that crap. Okay? Just saying. So yeah, I follow you, Squirrely Burger, but if you want to fill in more of what your thoughts are there, I think that other folks would probably be very appreciative. Because yeah, it does seem like a bit of a jump to me, just the way it's inserted right there. Oh, sorry for kicking stuff over. Wouldn't that be great if I just like flew the whole thing over? About the black car kidnapping attempt. Yes, my case. Okay, Annie Ruler, you're jumping too. The black car kidnapping attempt. Are you thinking that that could be tied in with all this too? Like that they thought maybe she saw something? I don't know what apartment she lived at. I don't think they said, which, and they also didn't say what graduate program she was in, to my knowledge. So very interesting. KC Chiefs won. So happy. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Get caught up here. Just a couple of minutes behind you guys. I'm just like 7 minutes behind you. Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow, everybody. Yes, Caleb Lee, that's cute with the roses and the sparkly heart. And now I'm gonna have to do a whole new decor for Valentine's Day tomorrow, right? I'll try to keep it simple. Alistair Grant, did Brett K turn off University of Idaho computer system down that night? Did criminal defendant pick up Brent at U of I when criminal defendant drove past police station 1113? Brilliant questions, Miss Annie Ruler. Thank you, thank you. You are on top of it. So, there's been a lot of talk about Brent Kopacher being an employee of security and or cybersecurity. And my thought, I mentioned it in last night's short video, is that he would likely be on disability with the head injury and the PTSD, but I don't know. Maybe he was on like a partial disability, or maybe he was high enough functioning that he had a job. Typically in the military, head injuries and PTSD are so debilitating that people don't have regular jobs. They just don't have the ability. But it's great if they do. If they can, I think that they should, because it helps them feel better about themselves and be contributing to the society and all that. So yeah, it's a very good question. I think a lot of us have had over the last couple of months. About checked on my coffee. Oh, about choked on my coffee when you said that. Heavenly Clouds. What was it that Heavenly Clouds said that was so funny? I missed it. I can't go back too far. Let's see. Investigated. What does that even mean, coming from police not policing each other? Exactly, Squirrely Burger. And is this really getting investigated? Like, Like, we know supposedly where all of the 4 deceased in the Idaho 4 were that night. Do we know, like, what the 2 survivors of the incident were doing all day? And again, going back a couple of weeks, if one of those survivors was allegedly in a physical altercation with one of the deceased, that's huge. That is huge. Is that being investigated? Is that being looked at? Allegedly, apparently, Dylan has had an attorney from the outset, so that's interesting also. And I don't know if she still has an attorney. If anyone has any information about that and wants to share. Um, I did that the other day and spilled a whole cup of coffee all over my robe and blanket. Oh, what a mess. I stay strong, Kylie's army, and stay strong, Kylie's army. We are breaking them down. Did you hear what came out of Mama Upchurch's mouth? No, I know that Mama Upchurch has been upsetting Ryan Upchurch with all of her stealing and buying houses with his money behind his back. But no, I don't know what came out of Mama Upchurch's mouth. If you want to share, Caleb Lee, please do. Giving her the title Mama Upchurch is a disgrace this morning. She's not acting like a mother at all. No, I mean, that's just really terrible. And I would hope that she could try to make amends and come clean and try to salvage the relationship with her son. Like, that's just disgusting. She disgraceful. Shameless. Let's see. I thought they were asleep in bed also. Yes, it would make sense that one person did it. We thought they had drugs in them, lots of alcohol. Now the truth had to be more people in on it, in my opinion. To me, it's abundantly clear that all the information we've had is just fabricated lies. That's my opinion. And yes, with at least Xana and Ethan awake, how do you make sense of that? There's just no way. There's no freaking way unless there was more than one of them with Xana and Ethan awake. No, zero chance that one ninja could do that. I mean, if it was actually a ninja, then okay. But I mean, like a real, actual trained ninja. Like, we talk about ninjas kind of tongue in cheek, and we know that the criminal defendant is not a trained freaking ninja. At least that hasn't been sold to us by anybody yet, but they're probably working on it. Okay, where are we? Yes, 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 yes. Francine Greener. Let me see where. Um, oh, I've missed so many good comments. I have to read these, you guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so um, the Pike County murders are outrageously mind blowing. Well, what's outrageously mind blowing to me is for everyone to like try to pretend like, oh, okay, well, the young man was upset about custody of the little kid. And so, yeah, he killed 8 people. And I think one of those was the little kid. I mean, I know that 3 children were unalived in that situation. And again, I don't follow cases real closely when there's young children getting unalived. It just makes me want to hurl. I just can't do it. And that Pike County thing, I mean, it was 100% obvious, like more obvious than obvious what it was, right? It was the area with all the growth, the family with all the growth, like in Nevada County. And then the whole way that it was done, and it was folks from Chicago, like it was their signature, okay? Grr. And then for it all to get hung up on one angry guy, right? Yes, Xena, Pike County Massacre. It's disgusting. Yeah, look it up, you guys. We can talk about that more on another one when we've all briefed ourselves. Oh, Justice Coming Soon lives 5 minutes from that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you can fill us in on stuff if you know or think you know. That would be awesome. Almost did Will Smith. I don't blame you, Rhonda. I think defense may have made a ruse reasonable doubt. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily think that the criminal defendant is innocent or guilty. It needs to play out in a court of law. I just think that there's a lot of suspicious crap going on, and that is suspicious. The whole family from Pike County was killed by the Wagner family. They were complete psychos, and it did have to do with custody, and that's why they were so psycho. Okay. But it was like one person that was said to be the one. But I still think that that's a cover story. That's my opinion. I've lived in Pike County on my crazy life. People crazy here. I'm sorry. I know rural areas can get like that. It's unfortunate. You would think that they'd be more down to earth. I'm on disability. They let you work a little. PTSD are here too. Oh, good to know, Annie Ruler. Right. It's different for different folks. So thanks for sharing that. I wasn't following crime on YouTube like that back then. The guy horse that lived next door to them, his parents lived in between towns. And Dr. Thrifty, he showed Harsh's parents' house, and it looks like they have a grow next to their yard. Okay. Squirrely? Wow. Interesting. Much like Nevada County, right? It's just a thing. Do you remember at the beginning, the father in interview said they do not have to go upstairs? Francine Greener, if I'm saying your last name right, thank you so much for saying that. Because, yeah, I've come back to that again and again. Steve Gonzalez said in one of his interviews, they didn't have to go upstairs. And so he said they, I believe, which could imply a couple, more than one. And they didn't have to go upstairs would imply that their targets were on the second floor. So, Monique Coate, who truly controls their paycheck? Are you talking about law enforcement? If Jack is connected to Dylan and he was following the girls, it is making sense. Him texting at Grub Truck and disappeared on the night to Africa. He was in on it too. Well, yeah, I mean, I am very suspicious. Again, going back to the screenshot in the back of the corner club, 2 hours, 2.5 hours before the quadruple homicide, and it looks like Jack Showalter with Adam and Man Without a Face, and then we know for sure that that's Jack D, and we know for sure it's Maddie and Kaylee, and yeah. What about Harsh? Yeah, he's a weird one. I don't know how he ties in. I don't know if he's just a goofball or what. DM's story has changed. Right. Her story has changed at the end of last week. And yeah, we've heard those mixed reviews that she was in a frozen shock phase. And you have to remember who wrote that affidavit with the quotes, frozen shock phase. That's Brett Payne's handiwork. So did she say it, or did he put it in quotes like that? Usually if you put things in quotes like that in a report like that, you're quoting the person, but anything's possible. So she was in a frozen shock phase, which isn't really a thing, but okay, we'll just run with it. I mean, being in frozen in fear and being in shock and being in a phase, those are all things, but those three words together have always struck me as kind of bizarre. But if those were her words, then okay, that's the only way I would think that that would be written like that. But then there's the other story that we've heard off and on over time that's been coming back this last week about that she yelled at everybody to shut the F up because they were being so loud. She opened her door and said, "You guys shut the F up. I'm trying to sleep." And so that's inconsistent, right? And oh, Dr. Thrifty recommend watching latest videos, a lot of information, and he lives right in that area in Pike County. Is that what you're saying? I heard Ryan's dad stole money from him as well. Oh, Upchurch. Well, and see, this is the problem. I was mentioning last week about rich and famous people is they often get ripped off and stabbed in the back by the people that they trust, whether it's family or business managers or family that is business managers. It's just typical. And, when you can't trust anyone around you, it's a creepy existence. And when people have that much money, they often um, have a tendency to be prone to substance abuse because they think they're supposed to be happy and they're not happy. So they want to feel better. And that's how people often try to accomplish that. Um, so I did want to show you a couple of my crazy boards that I have here next to me, but it's going to be tricky. I'll probably knock everything down. So let's see, where are we at? We're at 45 minutes. And how many minutes behind you am I? I'm just a couple minutes behind. So let me catch up first with you guys and then show you the crazy boards that are just really about me. So Wazoo Truckee. Okay. No, I'm further back. Where did we go? Okay, I missed a whole bunch and they look like really good things that I don't want to miss. Here we go. I'm going to speed read, okay? She doubled down by trashing Ryan last night. Yuck. Is that why the chief was smiling so much on interviews? He knew the truth and we didn't. He definitely had that look, the cat that ate the canary, did he not? He really had the look, like you could see the little canary tail hanging out of his mouth. Somebody else said Cheshire cat. I think that was harsh, but I was like, maybe he's the Cheshire cat who ate the canary. He's cheeseball, in my opinion, that's for sure. I swear, I think Xana May took a little vacation up north. I wonder what date she was gone. Is she just like a woman? I'm going to have to look this up. Yes, do it. Um, the youngest that was unalived was 16. Thank you, coming just as soon. Yeah, I'm sure that's about the Pike County, and the custody battle was over a 5-year-old, right? Um, Caleb Lee, it is so sad. She mentioned something so weird. Ryan was speechless. Something about Ryan showing a sex tape on her. She is off her rocker. Bunnies tried to jump ship. That's cute. I heard DM got a lawyer right away because she was treated like a suspect. Well, yeah, that would make sense that she would be. Um, but then, but then not, then protected. Where is Pike County in Idaho? I don't know. There might be a Pike County in Idaho. The one I was talking about is Ohio. So it's like east of Cincinnati, I think like 50 miles east near the Ohio River. I think I haven't looked at a map of it lately. I'm very close to the daughter of one of the men that was unalived. The ones that are behind bars did it. They were all involved in planning right down to steps taken. That is just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Heavenly Clouds, yes. Lying on up church does not score YouTube or social media points. If Dylan thought of just party goers, why would she be in shock state then? Exactly, Rhonda. Exactly. She can't have it both ways. That's talking out of both sides of your mouth, and you just can't. So Wazoo Truckee, that's a good one. Pike County, Ohio. That's the question. It's either party goers or shock, opening the door 3 times. Eliminates shock, frozen shock eliminates party goers. Makes no sense. Right, Stevie. That's why I'm at this point where I don't believe anything that she has said. Zero. New around here, just subscribed. My mommy is squirrel on fire. My grandpa is J Rod on point. Oh, that's too funny. Because there's not good blood there. Caleb Lee, who's you calling a troll? Are you calling Squirrel on Nuts troll? I never understood Kaylee's dad's statement about not going upstairs. So, is it drugs he is saying? The drugs were downstairs, not on the 3rd floor? Interesting. Um, very interesting. Oh my goodness, it gets so hard to keep up with you guys. And what am I missing? Um, Another thing I cannot let go is that her dad gave to Jack. I always go back to that in the corner club picture, is that her dad gave to Jack. I don't understand your sentence there, Monica Michelle, but I'm very interested. Another thing I cannot let go is that her dad gave to Jack. I will always go back to that in the corner club pic. Um, oh, Caleb Lee's from Franklin County. Caleb Lee, I see the troll too. Monica Michelle, I would like to know what Jack D's official alibi is and where he actually lived. Lots of different info. The mods took care of it. Thank you, mods. American Princess, Monica Michelle, I heard that Steve was looking at some people that were off the stage, that was off to the side of the stage, and I forgot who they were. Huh, interesting. I'll highlight that one. American Princess, I've never heard anything about that. But I assume you're talking about the candlelight vigil, the celebration of life type of thing where the whole family was up there on the stage and there was like the weird, what seemed to me like really bad blood between Kaylee's father and Kaylee's ex-boyfriend that was up there. Rhonda missed the troll. Oh, I'm sure there'll be another. Dr. Thrifty lives in the Idaho area, Moscow. Not exactly sure, but he does live around the area. Interesting. I love the way you explain everything so clear to what is going on. Oh, I'm so glad, Heavenly Clouds, because sometimes I feel like I'm all over the place, but I do my best. Yes, the chief has that look. You see the yellow canary feathers hanging out of his mouth too when he smiles. I can't find the videos of her vacation anymore. Oh, Xaname's vacation. Steve, Kaylee's dad said they had roommates come over and show their arms. So he must not trust the people around his daughter. I didn't hear that about the roommates, Rhonda R. Only Jack. And, to me, it doesn't really say anything except maybe the lack of trust. Or if Jack is like, look at my arms, that Jack is like trying to prove something. If I was in a situation like that and I had just broken up with the love of my life and then they were unalived, I wouldn't be trying to prove to their family that I didn't do it. I'd be like so devastated and grief stricken. That would be like the last thing on my mind. I don't know. I just think it's creepy AF. That's all. Just my opinion. Okay. I heard that Steve did that with Jack D too. Right. I never heard that he did it with the roommates. The Idaho case is not what it seems. We'll see. And again, if they didn't have marks on them, that doesn't mean that they didn't have any involvement at all. That just means that they didn't have marks on them. It doesn't clear anybody, in my opinion. Although, of course, if they did have marks on them, that does not necessarily implicate them either. People can get marks on them and not be involved in nefarious activity. And if those marks happen to coincide with a nefarious activity, that doesn't mean that they did it. Like, we need to be careful there too. In all cases, not just this one. Yeah. And so American Princess says, I heard that they made Jack D pull his shirt off looking for scratches on his chest too. The way I heard it was that he wanted to take his shirt off and that they didn't want him to, but he did because he really wanted to prove it to them. So I don't know exactly. JD is being given Murphy, makes me think he ignored the crowd at King Street. Why rescued to the pound? Right. If he wasn't around, because he might have gone to his parents' house, because remember, he said he spent the night at his apartment right there across the street. And then he said, oh, no, I spent the night at my parents' place in Coeur d'Alene, which is an hour, 2 hours away. And then the family said that it took him a while to get there. They live near Coeur d'Alene. They live in a small town just north of Coeur d'Alene. So they said it took him a long time to get there because he was coming from Moscow, you guys. So I guess he wasn't staying at his parents' then. Wow. Okay. Kaylee's parents do not trust Jack D. I don't trust Jack D. I mean, not at all. And I especially don't trust him with all his cute little puppy pictures. It's so reminiscent of Jagger and his posts. And Jack even made like an Instagram page for Murphy. That was way over the top to me. That was like way too soon. Like, oh, let's just puppies and rainbows, folks. It's like we're still looking for the person who unalived your alleged girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, estranged girlfriend, and your three other friends. Yeah, puppies and rainbows. Okay, I'm caught up. Just about. I keep thinking I am. Truth and transparency. Oh, here we go. Annie Ruler. I've been wanting to get back to this too. Did you see DM posted on SM at 3:33 a.m. on 11/13, generic post of her and a gal? And it could have been 3:30 a.m., 3:33 a.m. on East Coast time, because when you look at the post timestamp, it gives you the time for where you are. So yeah, there was a lot of discussion like that on a Zav Girl live a while back, that it could have been 12:30 when DM posted. So I'm not sure. But yeah, very interesting. And very interesting too, the photographs of her and Kaylee in the sexy hot black dresses that were taken allegedly the night before, Friday night. And they're both just looking amazing. And yeah, I've talked about those a few days ago. I won't repeat it. I want to get to this one. American Princess says Truth and Transparency was the one that said that Steve was looking at some people off to the side of the stage in the vigil. Well, that's not a source that I feel comfortable with. So for some reason, when I read it, I pictured all the frat boys in a shirtless lineup in Steve G's kitchen. Oh my goodness. And see, if, there's so much secrecy and silence with the Greek system and with this situation, it really is suspicious. You've got four unalived people. Like, screw your damn Greek silence. Okay? Seriously. But it seems to me that that's trumping the law, that sorority fraternity law and the University of Idaho law is trumping the actual law, is my opinion. But yeah, that's really funny, Stevie. Okay, thanks. What happened to Jack D? If someone I knew was murdered, being online with the pictures is the last thing I would even think of. Exactly. I wouldn't be doing the puppy dog thing. That's really creepy. And it just so happened to be like a sunset and on a pier, like just like one of Jagger's things, just like one of his posts, and talking about how beautiful the sunset was and how it reminded him of his deceased love interest. Like, just really creepy to me. Really creepy. Only hers is out of timestamps. I'm sorry, but Party Goes would. Oh, if hers was at the 3:33 timestamp, then yeah, then it would be 3:33, Annie Ruler. I'm sorry, but party going would sound different than four people being unalived like that. Just saying. Yes, absolutely. Oh no, it sounded like Kaylee was playing with Murphy. No, I think that's a cover. Thanks for clearing that up. You're welcome. Is Truth and Transparency Lana who dressed her little boy to look like Bella Watts? Not sure, just asking. Well, she did the thing where she did Shanann Watts zombie videos. I hadn't even heard about that part, Heavenly Clouds. Like, why is this person allowed to have a YouTube channel? That's freaking out of control crazy. Annie Ruler, but that is close to the same time as Venmo payment. And why in the hell would a party goer be creeping in the house with a face mask going out the door? Ethan sent that night. Pulling up your sleeves does not prove that you were not part of the whole thing. And in my opinion, they all played their part. All the cops, all Brents and SWAT guy, Africa, Dylan, in my opinion. I'm with you, Alistair Grant. I think we're on similar pages. So let me show you my crazy boards, okay? Because I mentioned the other day about how I lived in Malibu, California, growing up. And I thought you guys were probably like, did she really? She's never said that before. She said DC, she said San Francisco. So I wanted to show you, I went to a different school every year of my life from kindergarten until 7th grade, except 7th grade was kindergarten until 7th grade, different school every year. 2nd grade was the same school that I went to kindergarten. But can you guys see this? I'm going to put it in my community feed as well. It's a little bit big. I don't know what I was thinking. So kindergarten Montessori school, 1st grade in DC, 1st grade San Francisco, Sanchez. 2nd grade Montessori DC, 3rd grade Horseman in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills to be exact. McKinley Burlingame for 4th grade, and then 5th grade Point Doom in Malibu. 6th grade was in Alexandria. 7th grade was Malibu Park Junior High School. So 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, Malibu Park Junior High School. So that's where I moved back to Malibu, and a lot of contacts there. And then the bottom is 10th, 11th, and 12th, small town in Ohio. So that's not the crazy board. That's just the giant list, which, like I said, I was making it on a poster board to put it in my community feed, but then I thought I'd just share them with you here. So here is the crazy board map of, like I said, I'll knock everything down. Good thing those bunnies are already gone, because I'd be knocking them down now. So here's the crazy board map of me being born over here in Washington, D.C. area, Arlington, Virginia, and then moving back and forth across the country a whole bunch of times each year. And then briefly Santa Fe. I didn't even put that in the school thing because that was only a few months. Santa Fe, New Mexico. And then the big heart is Ohio, because that's where my family is from. And then Washington State, and down to Portland, Oregon, down to San Francisco, back up to Washington State, and then back to Ohio. So, like I said, that's just a quick view. I will take photographs of those and put them on my community page and explain a little bit more. But just because I have so much life experience of living in these places and knowing some things, that gives you insight that you would not have otherwise, like having skied and stayed on Donner Lake and skied in Truckee a whole bunch of times when I was in graduate school, and having been to Pullman campus and having had that experience with the Heather's soccer team trying to kill us. Anyway, sorry if that was annoying to show you those with all the glare and them being too big and everything. And I don't think I read this one. Did I? Stevie Irwin. I have heard Steve talked about that happening in a video clip from somewhere. And so what it was that Stevie Irwin said, for some reason, when I pictured it, all the frat boys. I have not heard that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Where are we? We're right there. I'm gonna pin that one. It wouldn't surprise me, but no, I haven't heard that myself. If you guys have, and if you have, if you can remember where you heard it, that's always helpful. Alistair Grant, I'm with you too. Okay, so Annie Ruler and Alistair and me, we're all in this land of conspiracy, conspiracy theory. Just like Truckee, if the town is dependent on the money from the dealings, they're going to protect that. That's their lifeblood. That's their source of nourishment, of existence. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. It's pretty basic. And Kaylee looked sizzling hot that night in DM. Worst pic I have seen of her in my opinion. I was going to say my imagination. Miss Amir Zaza, I couldn't have said it better. Absolutely. Yeah. Kaylee looks like a top supermodel. And Dylan usually looks like a top supermodel, but those are the worst pictures I've ever seen of her. Like she looks like she has a little rabbit teeth and she's got like the evil, like sneaky looking eyes. And yeah, it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. And Horseman, Horseman Elementary School in Beverly Hills. Again, that good old song, Beverly Hills, Weezer. I love it. And then there's that old movie called The Slums of Beverly Hills, which I just love because, you know, uh, you make the world around you. So if you have a ghetto in your mind, you will make a ghetto wherever you go, even if it's Malibu or Beverly Hills. Ghetto of My Mind, Ricky Lee Jones song. It's a great one. That's cool. I'm from Albuquerque. Yeah, so we lived briefly in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and that was weird being not a brown person there, very prejudiced and bullied. That was really a painful experience. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'm glad that I've had that experience, so I know what that's like for people. How come you move so often? Military, Bluestone, it's a good question. No, I had crazy parents. My mother grew up in a military family, and so she was the wild beatnik hippie, and my father was the wild beatnik hippie, and they were divorced, and they were both just very unstable, and there was a lot of manipulation, and you know that's why. So it's a good guess, but no, quite the opposite. Talented artist Zena. Oh, you're so funny, Annie. Thank you. And I do have one that's more artistic, that is more like a chronological timeline. So I'll maybe show you guys that tomorrow, or I'll put that on the community thing too. Wild Justice, you really got around. I know. And like I said, I just wanted to show you guys that I'm not just like talking out my rear end when I say, oh, yeah, I've lived there. And I grew up there, and I grew up there, and I grew up there. Yeah, it was nuts. And it was really sad because, we had to make new friends every year. And, sometimes I would take my friendships with me from one place to another, but we didn't have technology back then to make it so easy to stay in touch. So writing letters was hard. Phone calls were expensive. It was really challenging. So yeah, I like to be stable and consistent in one place. That's kind of my thing. We had certain suspects take their shirts off in our kitchen to show if they had scratches. Oh, thank you, Stevie Irwin. And we tried to do everything in our powers to make sure that if we thought somebody was ruled out. Oh, I did not catch that. I did not catch that. But yeah, that's awesome that you are quoting it. I trust you because I know you've got a good track record. Heavenly Clouds, Miss Amir, I agree with I agree, DM, with the sneaky eyes and duck lips is not a great look for her, allegedly. Allegedly. Thank you for posting this. Yes, American Princess. Thank you, Stevie, for putting that in quotes. That's excellent. And can you say where you're quoting from? That would be helpful too. So, you guys, we're getting well over an hour. So, I do want to look at wrapping up. I want to get caught up with you guys and then glance down at my notes and see what I have not included yet. That's a list if I ever saw one. Love it. Well, yeah, and I had to make it so big, right? Like I was not thinking with all of this stuff here, the logistics of it. And like I said, I'll put photographs of that on the community post. So if you're interested, you can look at it more and study it, right? I mean, I've tried studying it because I can't keep up with myself. I am in a land of suspicion. Elvis even made a song of it. Well, there's a lot to be suspicious of, especially in the entertainment industry and when it comes to big money. DM posting a picture of Kaylee from the night before. In my opinion, Kaylee was lured to Moscow by the dance. Mom said it was not going to go, wavered when the dance invite. Her job was lure. Oh, Annie Ruler. I have never really put all that together. Kind of almost, I think. So yeah, that really rings true. That really rings true. That is something that I want to look at more. Slim of Beverly Hills is a good movie. It's a great movie. I've been there. It's really good. Because yeah, if you go to Beverly Hills, there's no slums, but um, people can create whatever they want wherever they want. Same with Malibu. There's no slums in Malibu, but people make them. People make them in the imagination. The world is what you make of it. American Princess said it on 48 Hours in an interview with Peter Van Zandt. Thank you, dear friend Stevie. Excellent, 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 excellent. Because yeah, I think 48 Hours was the one that I didn't like. There was Dateline and there was 2020. Maybe Dateline was the one I didn't like. I get confused. Even though I've followed all of those shows for many, many years. The one with Morrison, Mr. Morrison, the tall, skinny, older guy with the white hair. Um, I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, whichever one he's with is the one that I liked, and then the show that he was not with was the one that I thought they just didn't do a good job. So yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. I'll go back and check it out later today. Yeah. And yeah, if somebody can help me out with who that investigative journalist is, I'm pretty sure his last name is Morrison. Morrison. He's wonderful. He's really good. And um, whichever of those two shows he's a part of is the one that I feel like puts the other one under the table, really. Not that it's a competition, but it is, right? Um, Beach Boys song, Round and Round, Get Around, Xena song, Annie Ruler. Wow, poor Kaylee. Yeah, yeah, if she was lured, that's crazy. That is so crazy. Um, so yeah, you guys, did Dylan or Bethany, did they have jobs? Did they work? Um, So I want to reiterate about that if substances were involved, if trafficking was involved, then that would explain all the silence and that would explain all the conflicting stories. And some of that is to protect the families from the embarrassment and shame of the illegal activity. But some of it is also to protect the illegal activity to continue. Um, and remember, Xana's sister goes to Wazoo. Don't forget, Xana's sister is a student at Wazoo, currently and still. Um, I just want to say, I feel like the whole narrative of the lone wolf with the 4 people deceased without them being asleep is preposterous. I just want to say that. It's preposterous from the ground up. Um, And so now we're waiting to get information. We might not get it till the trial, of course, about Kaylee's electronic device. What was it, a Bluetooth that would have recorded everything? I'm sure there were many devices like that in that uh, shared housing, that every single one of those girls probably had a smartphone, a smartwatch, um, Siri, or the other one that begins with an A, whose name we will not say because she always likes to butt into our business. So, all right, you guys, another thing to remember to think about is that you've got Johnson, Idaho, and Johnson, Washington. I know there's been a lot of confusion about that because in the affidavit it's written Johnson, Idaho, but it seems like they might be referring to Johnson, Washington. So just to know that there are two. Swirlyburger says, my parents were in the military. My mom never lost the venture of moving. That's how I ended up in North Carolina as a teenager. Culture shock. I've learned a lot from meeting so many people. Exactly. And it definitely builds character, and it definitely helps you to be flexible and just to kind of go with the flow. And there's the upshot to it. For me, a major upshot is that I know a lot of subcultures of our country that I would not know otherwise. So for that, I'm grateful. I agree. The horrendous takeover of the Artel K and the lack of action from our government really says a lot. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's going on all over, not just Truckee and places like that. Keith Morrison, thank you, Annie Ruler. Dateline said party of 150 at 11:22. Wrong, was at sorority. Thank you so much. So Dateline is the one that I like. Keith Morrison is the dude that I just have so much respect for. He has a lot of integrity. And 48 Hours is the one that I didn't like, but that's not to say that they're bad. I mean, me liking or not liking isn't any seal of validation or approval. It's just that I thought the 48 Hours was not nearly as good as the other two. And Peter Van Zant. So yeah, I might have, robbed myself not paying attention because I thought, oh, they didn't do a good job. So I should go back and watch that again. Thanks so much for looking that up, Annie. Keith Morrison, that guy rocks. He's really good. There's a few of them that I just love. Dan Abrams is one. And there's quite a few really good ones. And of course, I can't think of their names right now. Is it David Muir, the one from World News Tonight? I really like him. I really like Jon Stewart and the comedy ones, right? Oh my goodness. Oh, those guys are great with their news, their funny news. Yeah. Let's see. I agree the horrendous takeover. I am no liking the way DM is looking at Kay taking a selfie. She got a suspicious look. I agree, Alistair. I think it's really like a sneaky look, and it is really toxic looking. But yeah, and I would also think, like, why would she post that picture when she's looking kind of like a hag and Kaylee's looking like stunning, amazing? Why would you post a picture of yourself looking nasty next to somebody who's looking spectacular? I don't know. Thanks for clearing that up, American Princess says. Yeah, well, you guys, I am going to sign off for now. We're getting close to an hour and 20. I'm just so happy to be back on a live with you. I will be doing a short, not live later today, and then tomorrow the live. And so I'm going to try that for this week and see how that goes. I did not like the way Ashley Banfield interviewed Xana's mom. I felt bad for the mom. Heavenly Clouds, I agree so much. Yeah, the mom had like a do-rag on and really bad makeup, really bad lighting. It looked like she was sitting in a car. That was in poor taste. Like they should have like flown her in and given her hair and makeup and all that, in my opinion. Bluestone says, have a great day, everyone. I don't think Dylan is a female. Well, the way to find that out would be birth certificate, I guess. But I don't know if maybe Sifa can look for a birth certificate there. He's got access to a lot of that type of stuff. Heavenly Clouds, I felt bad for the mom in the first interview back in November too. Yeah. I feel bad for all of those families. And yeah, being interviewed, some of them I'm sure want to be interviewed. They want to get their 2 cents out there. And then some of it should just be, you know, on the down low. American Princess Ashley did it in poor taste. Well, she's been doing a lot of questionable stuff. She's been doing a lot of weird reporting, and she might just get herself in a pickle. I mean, she has before, and she hasn't learned from her mistakes. It doesn't seem like. Um, and thank you, Monica, Michelle, Stevie, Irwin. Great stream. Thanks. Well, thanks, you guys. I appreciate you so much. I want you all to have a fabulous day. Take the rest of it off. In fact, take the whole week off, right? If you can. But sometimes just giving yourself that permission to kick back and cut yourself some slack and just do what makes you happy. Take care of yourself, get your exercise, your nutrition, fresh fruits and veggies, protein, water, staying hydrated, and meditating, praying, stretching, getting sunshine and fresh air. And I think one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves is being kind to other people. Like that's good self-care, being kind to other people. Dateline spun a trial I was helping, made prosecutor a liar. He and prosecutor admitted dad killed his wife of 33 years, but family brought them in a family story with subtitle. Very interesting. I'll have to check that out. Huh. And yeah, take the whole week off, Heavenly Clouds. Yay. And it's paid too, right? It's paid vacation. Thanks for the live. Thanks, you guys. Peace out and see you tomorrow morning. Hopefully about 9. Hopefully I won't be struggling with my bunnies and everything so much. They could have fixed the mom up, but I think they portrayed her in that way that agreed with their drug narrative. Well, and making her look like the bad guy when she might be part of a narrative of a bigger picture. I mean, it could be connected. It absolutely could be connected. But, you want to just paint one person black and put it all on them that they're the bad guy and everybody else is free and clear. Everyone else has been cleared, right? Please take care, Xena and Justice Warriors. Retired and going fishing. Yay. Heavenly Clouds. When Xana's mom said in the first interview that she knew that NASA had satellites that could help figure out who did the murders, who went into that house, that made me sad. Well, why did that make you sad, American Princess? Because they do. They absolutely do have satellite images real time that they are using those videos more and more in trials. So that's not delusional in my opinion. That's a thing. So see you in the morning, everyone. Have an awesome day. Ashley knew she had drug issues. Ashley should have shown her much respect. Right. Absolutely. I mean, that woman was looking chewed up and spit out. Rhonda R., I want catfish. Oh, it's okay. I see. Thanks. I didn't know that. Oh, I know a lot of people don't know that because it does sound freaking crazy, you guys. That thing that American Princess said about the satellites that have real time. Just like how we can Google all these places and go there and like turn around and go around corners and stuff. Like that's just what's on the internet. That's just what's available to regular people every day, 24/7. Yeah. NASA has satellites that can literally read the second hand on your watch. It's a fact. All right, you guys, have a great rest of the day, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Thanks so much for joining me. Sending you love and light.